Hello, hello, the internet. Let us today discuss deliberate attacks. Deliberate attacks are assaults on a fixed location in order to control that ground, right? In other words, we are attacking a stationary place and we are attacking that place so that we can control that area. Currently, the enemy's there. We want us to be there, so we have to go attack them and rout them or destroy them so we can occupy that terrain. This differs from stuff like ambushes and raids in the sense that we are not leaving this area, right? We are trying to completely destroy or rout the enemy, as I already said, and then occupy this terrain, which also means we're going to have to bring with us equipment to stay in place until resupply or reinforcements show up, right? So that's where the assault pack comes in, because we are assaulting this place to occupy that terrain. So we're going to bring a small pack with us with food, water, and warming layers so we can survive a day or two in that position. Wonderful. So when we go on the assault, right, when we go to do a deliberate attack, we're going to have to probably patrol from wherever we're at to there. That's going to be a standard patrol formation, patrol movement. Once we start to transition from the patrol to the attack itself, the first thing we're going to do is establish an ORP, an objective rally point. You want your objective rally point to be far enough away from the objective that they cannot see you, and you would be able to break contact from the objective and return back to your objective rally point. You also want it to be an identifiable and preferably defendable terrain feature, so that if you have to establish a counter assault or a counter ambush from the ORP, you will be able to, and the terrain will be assisting you, not hindering you. Here in this example, we have a nice little piece of elevated terrain, a hill, if you will, that's rather steep on the objective front and rather shallow, sloping on the patrol side. Okay? Here we have friendly units. The blue magnets are rifle fire teams. So we have 3 rifle fire teams in a squad, and then attached to them, these black magnets are a machine gun team, or perhaps a precision rifle team or an auto rifle team if you are a civilian. All right, so from the objective rally point, we are then going to conduct leaders recon. You probably want to take not every single team leader, but the majority of the team leaders. You definitely want the squad leader, whoever is in charge of any attached elements to come with you, and then 1, if not 2 of the other team leaders as well. Right? So your little 4 or 5 man element is going to push out, get to where they can see the enemy, but the enemy can't see them, and they're going to get final eyes on the objective, right? What does the objective and the terrain look like right now, right here, right before we launch the assault, right? Last chance to identify any curveballs the enemy's thrown at us or anything we haven't identified in our reconnaissance. Once we conduct that leader's recon, we're going to then go ahead and return back. We're then next going to need to load that support by fire. Probably everybody's going to push out from that ORP. They're going to break off. The support by fire is going to occupy, ideally, a piece of terrain that allows them to see the entire objective. In this case, we have a small piece of lowly elevated terrain, a very shallow hill. All right. That gives them eyes on the objective. We also want our support by fire, ideally, to be in the front of the enemy, to be in the direction the enemy was expecting us to attack from, right? We want the support by fire to be the tank, to aggro the enemy position. Look at me, shoot at me, I'm shooting at you. And then that allows our assault element to flank the enemy from a direction that they were not expecting. We also want deconfliction of fires, right? We want the angle of fire from the support by fire to allow the assault to come across, and we can shift onto different targets while that assault moves across. I'll better display that in a second, right? Ultimately, we want to be as close to 90 degrees from that assaulting element as we possibly can be. Once our support by fire is loaded, ideally at the same time that's happening, our assault is going to be staging in their final position of concealment and cover before they actually push out on the objective. Once support by fire is loaded and assault is staged, they'll communicate that to each other either over the radio or through a visual cue. Then support by fire will begin to suppress the enemy. Initially, they're going to suppress the targets closest to the assault position. Then the assault is going to push out, and they are going to start to gain a foothold, right? Once they're gaining that foothold, the support by fire is then going to shift their fires onto the next target, deconflicting any sort of friendly fire. It is critical for the assault to identify lead trace. Whoever that point man is, right, he has to identify himself. Depending on the terrain you're clearing, that's going to present different problems. If you're in trenches, I've had that lead trace element literally have a flag, that point man have a flag tied to him, sticking up out of the trench so the support by fire can see that flag as it moves across the trench. If you're in a urban setting, a lot of times you'll like hang stuff out of windows as you move across the building if it's a large building, or hang something out of the window if it's smaller, like a residential home, for each house that you clear. That way support by fire can identify where you're at and where you haven't been. Ideally, if there's like different objectives you can take, once you take each objective, you're going to send some sort of a visual indicator, a flare, a smoke, whatever the case is, to let support by fire know you've taken that objective so they can then shift from the next one, right? They soften objective 1, then shift to objective 2. Assault takes objective 1. Once they take objective 1, they signal to support by fire. That signals support by fire to shift to objective 3, which allows assault to seize objective 2. So on and so forth, right? Met TC, depending on you and your friendly situation and your terrain, the exact way you conduct this is going to change, but ultimately you need that point man, that lead trace element identified by the support by fire, and the support by fire hammering targets as close as they can with 100% safety, right? With 100% safety to that lead trace element. Wonderful, right? As we begin to systematically clear, we're going to flow more friendly forces in, and then we're also going to be shifting fires. Ultimately, those fires are going to be completely cut off. Support by fire will go cold. They will no longer be actively shooting. They will just be observing and standing by to help suppress the assault if there's some sort of an emergency counterattack and they need to retreat or something like that, right? They're not going to displace until assault has fully taken the objective, but there will be a period of time when the support by fire is no longer firing, but the assault is still seizing the final few feet of that objective, right? Ultimately, once we've assaulted all the way through, on the assault, when everybody is still in position, we're going to give up initial ACE reports, right? I want to know about ammunition. How much do you have? I want to know about casualties. Is anybody hit? Where are they hit? How bad is it? How many of them? I want to know about equipment. Did you lose anything? Did you gain anything? And not really written on the ACE report, but everybody does it, and it's important. Talking about water. Who has water? Who's out of water? Et cetera, et cetera. These ACE reports, right? Individuals give them to team leaders give them to squad leaders pass that up to whoever is controlling the entire assault if it's larger than a squad. And based off those ACE reports, whoever's the highest echelon of leadership can decide to distribute resources throughout their unit, right? The assaulting element, in order that everybody has water, everybody has ammo, everybody has batteries, etc., right? Once we've got those ACE reports up, we're then going to consolidate. We're all going to come together, occupy the same piece of terrain, and then we're going to set up a defense. We're going to set up some sort of coordinated and organized defense, probably begin to fortify, dig in, etc., prepare to stay in place for a day or two while resupply and reinforcements arrive. That is a very simple overview of how you conduct a deliberate attack. Probably not the most applicable thing to the Minuteman, but it is good for you to understand how to do it should you ever have to. There it is, boys and girls.